Writing effective antagonists that keep readers invested doesn't have to be hard. In fact, writing a great antagonist is similar to writing a great protagonist. I haven't done a video on antagonists in over a year, which is why I wanted to make this video on villains done right. Stick around to learn more. Let's get started. Hey guys, Nour here, and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello! I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. Be sure to subscribe for awesome writing advice videos that will help you take your story to the next level. So what makes an antagonist memorable? When we think of our favorite stories, we realize that the conflict is a big reason why we were invested. And the conflict usually stems from the antagonist. A great antagonist or villain is the driving force behind the conflict. If the antagonists didn't exist, or if they're passive characters, then the conflict wouldn't exist. It's really that simple. Now, you can't just write an evil character who kills left and right and call it a day. That doesn't make them believable or memorable. They're just clearly made up to shock readers. And readers are smarter than that. They can tell when you're just trying to shock them into a reaction, so this won't work on them. To create a truly effective antagonist, you have to first figure out who they are as a person. I've said this in previous videos, but I always see new writers making this mistake. Your antagonist should be complex. They are their own person with their own thoughts and feelings. They have their own motivation for doing things. They're not just starting conflict because they're evil, because that would just make them flat characters. Instead, they're starting conflict because they believe in the cause. From their point of view, they're doing the right thing. If you ask an antagonist why they're doing the things they do, they should be able to justify it. And that's what makes great antagonists interesting. Even though we don't condone their actions, we can understand their motivation. So consider what drives them to act the way they do. For example, if they're after power, why do they feel like they need it? Has something in their past left them feeling powerless? And are they just now trying not to feel that way again? Also, consider their values and beliefs. An antagonist might have values that oppose the protagonist and even the world around them. In their own mind, they think they're good, but others don't agree. Think of Thanos from Infinity War. He thinks the world is overpopulated and will only destroy the universe. So his goal is to eliminate 50% of the population. I've used this example before, but I still think it's great. Thanos has a clear motive, and his values drive that motive. And if you look at his backstory, that too drives his actions. We can understand where he's coming from, even if we don't agree with the way he's going about things. He's a complex antagonist who's not evil for the sake of being evil. Another important component of a great antagonist is how they interact with the protagonist. After all, we write antagonists to create obstacles for our protagonists. So the antagonist needs to be able to challenge the protagonist. They shouldn't be easily defeated. Rather, they should be just as smart as the protagonist and constantly trying to stay ahead of them. And likewise, the protagonist needs to work just as hard to outsmart the antagonist. Think of it like a dance. The two will be trying to beat the other throughout the story, which is why you want the antagonist and protagonist to be on equal footing when it comes to their abilities, intelligence, and resourcefulness. The antagonist should definitely be pushing the protagonist to the limit, which will make the protagonist grow and become stronger. But the protagonist should also pose a threat to the antagonist. After all, they stand in the way of their goals too. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, what makes your antagonist a complex character? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe because I put out writing advice videos every other Wednesday that will help you take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne, Alan J. Early, and Noah Kwavanti from my shout outs here over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And remember, Nour for president.